Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
This ain't financial advice, just a little DD to help you think twice. We hold for each other, eyes on the prize. The new floor's 200,000 times 5. I joke, I kid, no, I don't know a damn thing. I'm as simple as Bubba trying to sell some damn shrimp. Can't spell IQ, can't even count to 10. And I eat crayons every day with my friends. I think about Kenny in his ivory tower, shaking in his lily boots as the apes overpower. Must suck to lose to monkeys, so dumb. But you made your bed and you got nowhere to run. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when he makes the prize fall. And he watching as we keep on more. You forgot we on the float, blind 2 hours old. Lie, stop breaking the law, asshole.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Yeah, crayon eating Lambo loving smooth brain, stupid ass. Throwing all my money at the streets like a quarterback. FUD don't mean a thing, water up a duck's back. Eight's not leaving nothing till we get the money stacks. Monkey see, monkey do, monkey holding to it blue. Monkey magic coming through, through us monkeys on the moon. Double digit IQ, tendy loving bamboo. Right here we got more smoothies than a jumbo juice. Probably thought you coulda made us sell all the gooda. In hell we maybe woulda, but we more zen than the Buddha. The floor 6 figures ain't selling for less. You took on the ape nation and you're fucking with the best. We hold for each other, my sisters and my brothers, the fighters and the lovers. We don't need another fan because we huddle through hard times and struggle. Cause we're just a couple of diamonds in the rubber.
Show us the fucking money. It's time to lay it on me. Cause what's mine is ours. This shit belongs to the army. Gon' need to see them Benjis. We hungry for them tendies. Give us this day our daily bread. Show us the fucking money.
Moon Gang. It's Friday. It is Friday. It is Friday, November 5th. We're at the end of the week. First week in November. We're locking it in. One more day to go. Let's do this thing, folks. It's almost the weekend. TGIF. Let's get after it. And the only other things are getting after it too. Look at AMC waking up this morning. Must have had its coffee pretty early. Bouncing off of 39.60 up to 41.40. We have the overall market going. It's looking really nice right now. IWM looking solid. SPY looking solid. The Qs looking solid. Folks, this is why we do it. This is why we do it day in and day out. Your favorite finance live streamer, at least from my mom's particular basement. Low competition, if I'm being honest. But yeah, I know I'm still your favorite live streamer from my mom's particular basement. Some interesting things to talk about. I'm like oddly excited for today. I think we might be getting some nice moves, seeing some nice action. So let me do my best to get you set up for overall what could be going on today. Excuse me. 5 things to know before the stock market opens today, Friday, November 5th. Wall Street looks higher ahead of jobs reports after more records. So speaking of the more records, I do have the job report results for you, but look at this. S&P 500 has been ripping. We now have 63 all-time highs, maybe 64 all-time highs, which if you're doing the quick math, that means we have about 5 more to go. But it does look like we're going to gap up to another new all-time high today, and it's because the job reports beat. The NASDAQ, more of the tech-heavy sector, I'm watching 400 flat, also gapping up to a new all-time high. IWM also, it was about to gap up to a new all-time high, but now we're like right at that high level. So 3 of these major indices, the SPY, the Qs, IWM, ripping. Money is going into it, and it's one of those things. You might be asking yourself, wow, this seems crazy. It seems like it could be a little bit of a bubble territory. It seems like everything's really overpriced. Why are we ripping higher and higher and higher? And to that, I would just respond, hey, enjoy the party. Let's not be that negative Nancy party pooper. Does any of this make sense? Absolutely not. But that's not what I get paid the big bucks for. I'm not paid the big bucks to make this all make sense. I'm just here. We're just here in the party together, folks. Let's just focus on the positive. Let's let the good times roll. And a lot of the reason, honestly, of why this keeps going higher is because the jobs report came in very, very nice. So here were the expectations. 450,000 non-farm payrolls, and that actually, hang on, I have this over here. Here, let me give you all the expectations, and you're going to see how much we actually like beat all of them by. So 450 non-farm payrolls. September was very bad, 194,000. The unemployment rate was 4.7%, and the hourly wages were expected to rise by 4.9%, and then that was actually an increase from September's of 4.6. So overall, you could argue that September was not the best. Like the numbers we got in early September, no bueno. However, stronger wages could make the case for a rate increase sooner than expected. The futures market is pricing in the first rate hike for July. Just to give you the odds on this, the odds of the first rate hike being in July of 2022 is coming in around 65-ish% right now. But here's how they actually came in, the numbers, not the rate hike. Obviously, we're still waiting on that. I'm talking about the job numbers, actually pretty impressive. So they were expecting 450,000 and we came in at 531,000. So that's a nice beat by 81,000. And then in the private sector, they were expecting 400,000 and we came in at 604. So that was very impressive. And the unemployment rate fell down to 4.6%. That's not an incredible drop, but that's still positive. Hey, we're walking in the right direction. I'm going to take that. But just so you know, from the bigger picture, like obviously this was a solid month improvement, but at the same time, the U.S. economy is slowing down. Gross domestic product increased just 2% in the summer months, falling short of even the reduced expectations for gains during the pandemic era recovery. So the numbers are very, very solid. That's why the market's up. That's why many stocks are up right now because, hey, we got a good development, but I don't want it to somehow seem as if it's reasonable that we're at these levels. We're at these levels because of enthusiasm, because of the asset purchasing from the Federal Reserve, because our politicians will do whatever they need to keep pushing it higher and higher and higher. But is it one of those things that makes sense? Like in this slowdown in gross domestic product right there, to me, that's a sign that, okay, it doesn't make the most logical sense that we're apparently at the best Wall Street stock market we've ever had. There is a little bit of a disconnection there. But like I said, that doesn't mean fight against it. Sometimes you have to go with the flow, and that's the money-making opportunity is to go with the flow. But you want to be agile. You want to be on your toes because sometimes when reality catches up, you want to lock in your tendies and be prepared. You don't want to get so stubborn in one direction. But right now, that's why you're seeing probably a lot of green in pre-market. The job creation, the unemployment rate were definitely what we wanted. Pfizer is up quite a bit in pre-market right now. Pfizer says its COVID pill with HIV drug cuts risk of serious illness. Pfizer said today its oral COVID pill administered in combination with a widely used HIV drug cut the risk of hospitalization or death by 89% in high-risk adults who have been exposed to the coronavirus. The Pfizer candidate is now the second antiviral pill behind Merck to demonstrate strong effectiveness for treating COVID at the first sign of illness. So I thought this was interesting because when Merck first came out with like, hey, we're doing this this pill that you could take for COVID, J&J, Moderna, and Pfizer all fell while Merck went up. But now that Pfizer's announcing it, Merck is actually down in 9% in pre-market just because of the increased competition. Pfizer plans to submit the data to the FDA as soon as possible. So I don't want it to seem like they're already out there and it's already like something that you could consume. It seems like earlier steps, but on the news, Pfizer's doing very, very well. Exactly why Pfizer's up quite a bit in pre-market. Peloton is down, and basically they just missed on earnings. There was a lot of earnings really to talk about today. So Peloton is down. We have right here DraftKings also down. DKNG, the sports betting company, stock slid 3.5% in the pre-market after it reported a wider than expected loss in revenue that fell short of street forecast. DraftKings did raise the midpoint of its fiscal 2021 revenue guidance, and it said it is expecting a strong 2022. So in the most generic sense, I'm seeing the sector of gambling, of specifically online sports betting, taking a hit in the second half of this week. In my own estimation, this dip is to be bought. I'll probably be buying DraftKings and I'll probably be buying Penn just because I am a long-term bull on this sector. So I'm seeing this notable dip. I'm going to buy the dip and I'm prepared to wait it out. I need to make this explicitly clear. This is not a short-term play for me in any manner. If anything, as more and more states adopt online sports betting, I just think the revenue are going to grow. And right now, DKNG, Penn, both taking a hit. I'm going to be buying the dip, and I'll let you know when I do so. For Square's Cash App generated $1.8 billion in Bitcoin revenue. So Square had a pretty solid earnings, and I just wanted to bring up this specifically about Bitcoin. $1.8 billion in revenue from this. Like, I think they had over $3 billion in revenue, $3.84 billion in total, which is up 27% year over year. Square it's a solid business. It's a very, very solid business. Many people within the world, they are very ecstatic to always invest in this. They're creating an entire finance merchant ecosystem. I think what they have is very, very impressive, but I just want to bring up how much they made off Bitcoin alone. Very, very solid stuff. Biden's big spending bill on brink of House vote, but fights remain. You know, I feel like sometimes I should be hired to name this. Like, I can make it more clickbaity for them. Democrats in the House appear on the verge of advancing President Joe Biden's $1.85 trillion and growing domestic policy package of social and climate spending alongside a separate $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which was already passed in a bipartisan vote in the Senate. So there's two different things going on, and they might get voted on in the House literally today. So one thing to talk about the spending bill, 1.85 trillion, that's slowly increasing. At one point in time, it was already above 3, pushing 4. Then they dropped it to 1.75, and now it's up 100 billion to 1.85, and it does seem to be increasing. So it's kind of a dynamic thing. Just so you know, that is obviously going to have an impact on the market. These type of big political moves always do, especially with the infrastructure bill. It does seem whenever there's discussion related to that, there is a lot of the small cap sector can really get moving. But this, I audibly laughed this morning when I was going through what's going on in this world. This line right here: House Speaker Nancy Pelosi worked into the night at the Capitol looking to lock down support. Where would we be without her, folks? What a freaking national hero. No way. She worked into the night? Thank you, Nancy. Nancy, where would we be without you? She worked into the night. If I were her, knowing I'm up millions of dollars on NVIDIA calls, up millions of dollars on a Tesla position, up millions of dollars on a Apple position, she's working into the night. The Speaker of the House of the United States of America, you know, I'm happy she's putting in her 40 hours. She might have done about 42, 45 this week. That was good for her. You know, I feel so much more comfortable knowing that the Speaker of the House is willing to work into the night. Like, what a rock star. I feel so much better. I feel so much more comfortable just knowing that she has our back, just burning the midnight oil. I had to bring this up to make fun of myself. Most influential 2021. So apparently there's a vote where you can vote on the most influential people. Michael Saylor, I had the privilege of previously interviewing him. He's clearly influential. And then you could vote on who's the most influential in the crypto sector. Obviously, my name's not going to be on here. And then I was thinking about influencers in general. And you know me, I was just searching around, and I heard that there's apparently a new term about micro influencers. And I have something sad to report. I don't even really meet the credentials of a micro influencer. So you have influencers, then you have micro influencers, and I don't think it's really a thing yet because I'm not at that level. So I'm more of like Nano's even smaller, and I'm probably that, but it sounds much more fun to say I'm a pico influencer. So you got to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So that's me. I have successfully aspired to the world of being a pico influencer, where basically the people who listen to me are anyone who's in shouting distance of this basement. So that's me, Matt Kohrs, a pico influencer. What an aspiration. What an aspiration to live up to. All right, let's talk about AMC and Gme specifically. Just to get you guys ready for the day, they've already borrowed $700,000 against AMC, putting the estimated short interest at 16.5%. Utilization 88%, shares on loan just around 102 million. But from a fundamental standpoint, this was the announcement. This was tweeted out from Adam Aaron yesterday. AMC announces an expansion going into the multi-billion-dollar popcorn industry in 2022, freshly popped at malls, home delivery to go from theaters, and microwavable sold at supermarkets. So obvious, who knows more about popcorn than AMC? On a peak day, we sell 50 tons of it. So I know on some of your big influencers, your mainstream media as it comes to finance, they were already talking about this, of it just being dumb and a sellout, blah, blah, blah. You know, I honestly think it's pretty smart. There's people pointing out that particularly this industry, like the popcorn industry, the margins on it are very, very wide. And if you recall from the previous two earnings announcements, a lot of AMC's money is coming from concession sales. The core of the AMC business is like, okay, they don't really own, they rent a lot of their theaters. On top of it, yeah, the margins on the movies are good, but not all movies are going to be a big hit, like a Marvel movie or like an Avatar or something like that. So a lot of their money is coming right from concessions. And now they're expanding a core pillar of their business to not just be related to movies, but the whole thing. And popcorn itself, out of all the world of concessions, the markup on it is huge. It's gigantic. To me, this is very, very smart. This is very, very smart. And I just like it because it's also representative of a certain sense of the fact that they are coming up with as many new sources of revenue as they possibly can. And with this type of traction and given enough time, I think AMC will start trading at whatever its true fundamental value is, because you see it expanding. The leadership team, they're being smart. They're willing to listen to the public of like, what can we do? What can we do? And they're just doing it. It's nice and refreshing to see that they're not saying the same old crap of like, we're a movie theater, we do movies. They're thinking outside of the box. This one, I just like it. I like it. It's representative of the fact that they're willing to try out new things, and this, it's going to help them. Like, I don't think this is the thing that like quintuples their value or something like that. But when you get into this mode of trying to be creative and kind of come up with new things, and it's totally going to help. I just think it's really smart, and I'm sure we're going to be hearing more about it on Monday, November 8th, which is their next earnings announcement. That's after the market closes, 5 p.m. ET. So just so everyone knows, I will be streaming it. So on Monday, we'll have that specialty thing, the morning stream, the afternoon stream, and then I'll be doing the earnings announcement stream an hour after the market closes, just so we're all on the same page there. But I thought it was pretty cool information. And honestly, I see kind of that similar mindset. Now, GameStop, Brian Cohen, and that leadership team, they're not as public with their things. Like, it seems like they're doing more so of their work in the background. But just to even the creativeness of going really into this NFT marketplace, we know that they have the 8 different job offerings. They're getting into the world of crypto and in a very noteworthy manner, on top of making the bold business moves to get the fulfillment center in York, PA, also in Nevada. So they're expanding out their core business, but then also adding on completely new pillars to the business. And that's honestly why I'm impressed with both leadership teams. Do I think that they're perfect? No. But also, what do I know? I scream at a camera in a basement, so I don't think they should be necessarily taking my advice anyway. Am I sitting here saying they're perfect? No. Am I sitting here saying that I feel comfortable in the power of the leadership team and for most of the time making moves that, to me, are I find to be impressive? Yes, without a doubt. That's why I have money in both of these companies, because I like what is going on. It's honestly that simple. In terms of GME, just so you know, there's a net return of 16,000 on a borrow of 9,000 already, but obviously the market's not open yet. The estimated short interest is 10.4%. Just under 10.5%, utilization 32%, and the shares on loan coming in at 7.35 million. So that's the setup for the day on AMC and Gme. As these things get going, I'll let you know. Like, we could just generically check on them throughout the day. Overall, though, I'm expecting some big moves in quite a bit of the market. I mean, AMC's already looking a bit whippy. I like that. The SPY coming in, it's going to open up at a new all-time high. There's a shot of IWM opening at a new all-time high, and I believe the Qs will. Right now, we do have some updates on Tesla. Tesla could be even more whippy today. Because of this incredible demand for the Model Y, they've once again increased the cost by $1,000, just so everyone knows on that. We know that Peloton, that both Tesla and Peloton are the number 1 and 2 things discussed on Wall Street bets right now. So whenever that happens, of course, there could always be more volatility. We know DraftKings and Penn, they're down, so maybe we're going to see some people buying the dip, but volatility there. PROG right now, let me actually bring up PROG. PROG had a nice day yesterday. I'm looking for this to recapture $4. I'm in PROG. I like PROG. I'm excited for Friday. Very, very excited. In terms of the world of crypto, so Bitcoin, we're coasting right now in the low 60s. It's just building a nice new level of support. I'm looking for that breakout above 64. If we can break above 64 and hold, I feel very confident in a test of the current all-time high around 67,000. Ethereum looking very strong. New all-time high just below 4,700. Right now trading at 4,500. Looking for that base and the follow through. I'm in Ethereum. I love Ethereum. I'm in Bitcoin. I love Bitcoin. I'm in Solana. Just made a new all-time high just above 250. I got into this one around 137, 138. Very happy with this position. Ethereum, Cardano, and Solana, I like them. Smart contracts. I just believe in that utility. SHIB right now, notable sell-off, but it also caught itself right now, battling it out at 50. We're going to see how this is going on. One of the things that is causing this clear amount of supply, at least relative to demand, is we're seeing some of the whale wallets sell out. In a certain way, obviously, there's no way to sugarcoat that. It's just not nice to see the red. Like, I get it. Percentage drops are rough. But if we can withstand this of like the singular big whales getting out, and all of a sudden the positions become dispersed between many people instead of like a handful of big whales, it kind of makes all the action a little bit less severe, because this is what happens when you have some whales with noteworthy positions. So if we can withstand this sell-off and many individuals acquire the position of the whales getting out and then once again build up momentum, I think that's going to mean that we're less susceptible to these noteworthy sell-offs when a whale decides to exit their position. So that's one thing I'm watching there. And then, of course, just in general, crypto is always doing its crypto thing. Cardano recaptured $2. Doge is trading at 26 cents. Matic at $1.90, previously over $2. But right now, it's kind of Ethereum and Solana really leading the way. Happy with those positions for sure. Do the gap ups not scare you? They scare me. No, because right now I get why they're gapping up. The gap up makes sense because of the unemployment dropping and the jobs coming in higher than expected to a noteworthy degree. Like I said, if you give it enough time, the gaps are all going to be filled to the south side. This would now be the fourth gap, and as we go, hey, enjoy it, because there's going to be a period in time at some point, most likely in the short to medium term future, where we see a bunch of red and we're going to be talking about, okay, first gap filled, okay, second gap filled, okay, third gap filled. You can make money in all environments. You can make money when the market's going up, down, sideways, backwards, inwards. It does not matter. There is an opportunity to make money. So with it, just understand kind of the market regime that we're currently in, and always apply good risk to reward. Don't just put a position in and hope for the best. You have to have some sort of like well thought out plan. We need a Friday full of Coach Kohrs, SmackDown. What's going on, Eric? Good morning. Can you check out the Cinemark earnings? Yes. I actually had that up. Why did I exit out? The Cinemark earnings. there was a nice article written right here. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, and this just came out pretty early this morning, Cinemark touts sustained positive trends, forecasts continued ramp up in box office. So their CEO, Mark Zoradi, saying the firm was highly encouraged by sustained positive trends in escalating consumer demand for theatrical moviegoing and growing momentum in the box office. So right there, the AMC as a company is quite a bit bigger than Cinemark, so I don't know how much it would be to like give you the magnitude, but just so you can see the percentages. So they had a quarterly loss. This was Cinemark of 78 million, but last one, same period of 2020 was 148 almost. So they almost cut it in half. So if we're comparing this quarter of this year to last quarter, the same quarter, quite a bit of an improvement right there. And they did well. They definitely did well. And what I was looking for in Cinemark is the trends, where to a percentage degree, how much were things improving, and across the board, things were clearly improving. Like I said, I don't want to use the magnitude because AMC is a considerably larger company. So like just to look at the magnitude in terms of millions and or billions, you can't do that. But for example, the revenue jumped to 435 million from 36 million in the year ago period. So right there, that's a 10x increase in their revenue. So I'm remaining bullish going into AMC's earnings on Monday. Unless something crazy happens that we're not expecting, it has the most market share. And on top of that, Adam Aron is kind of teasing these announcements that something big's coming, and they just have the most name recognition. I think people are literally going out of their way, even if a particular movie theater that's not AMC is closer. I feel like there's a lot of AMC apes out there who, you know what? I own the stock. I like the storyline of what's going on. Let's drive a little bit more to go to the AMC theater. I'm hearing stories like that pretty often. I'm expecting them not only because they have the biggest market share, but because of the name notoriety for them to do exceedingly well. AMC fails to deliver jump 2,700% November 4th, 2021. That blog, I am not a fan of it. That the number is true, but it's a very poor way to look at data, Rick. I do not like... I just don't like how they're presenting that data. That's a very, very poor way to do it. That percentage, you need the percentage, but also the magnitude. And right now, AMC and Gme have a low magnitude of FTDs, if you look at it. The most recent one is 78,000, 79,000. And on Gme, it is 4,500. So they are purposely... That blog, I read it, and it's weird to do it that way. It's a form of confirmation bias. They're like, if I write an outlandish article like this and not give the magnitude of the numbers, that's just not a way that they should be doing it. Steve, check your Twitter messages. I found something for you. Okay. Yeah. I'll try to catch up on some of the DMs this weekend. I get my DD from Keenan and Kohrs Pelosi rants. Thanks for teaching me options. Only down 60% on my 3-month P&L. Haha. Shout out to the basement chair. What's going on, King Magnetic? Hey man, down 60%. What, I feel like you got to stick to your plan a bit more, or maybe that's your problem. Is not having an original plan. You shouldn't. I don't know if that was one big loss or various small losses, but if it was closer to one big loss, I think you're playing a little bit too loose there. But obviously, I would have to kind of look at your trades and see what's going on. But hey, bounce back. And don't forget, maybe it's useful to play with a paper account. If you're on TD Ameritrade's Thinkorswim, you can use a paper account for options trading if you just want to test out a certain methodology without risking real money. I think starting out with a paper account, I think could be a very solid tool for many people. What's going on, Gorilla Champ? Good morning, Moon Gang. Matt, can we get AMC popcorn trending or something like that? Really want Charles G to skip that milkshake this weekend. Oh, man. We need Moon Ape Art on popcorn boxes with early availability to shareholders. Would be even better if it attached to AMC NFT in place of dividends. they're not going to do dividends for quite a while. Like generally you don't do dividends when you still have debt, and AMC still has debt. Now it's not due for quite a while. It's due in 2026 and a little bit, I believe, in 2023. But it's very, very rare. Like, I don't know why they would do that, because if you had that extra money, you would pay off your debt instead of doing a dividend. What's up, Matt? How was your interview yesterday? Are they posted yet? Get that likes up, people. Get the likes. So we're doing what we can to get the interview out tomorrow. We're trying to make that kind of the typical cadence, is like kind of these weekend interviews, because they're a little bit more longer form. And I know people just have a little bit more time or whatever, whenever you best listen to podcasts. But we're doing the editing, and then we also have to get the approval of the legal team of the exchange that it was like done with, because obviously whenever you do things at that scale, you need legal teams to approve it. But everything thus far is looking pretty solid for tomorrow for the typical release. Feel like baby Gohan when I see AMC logo transform to Great Ape. Morning gang, what's going on? BKKT accepting Ethereum now. That's actually awesome. So BKKT, previously VIH, it's a digital asset platform, some nice partnerships. It's just helping a lot of companies more rapidly get into the world of crypto. I'm a fan of it. I am a fan of it. Let's have fun and be thankful we have the opportunity to make extra income. Most people can't afford to do this. Thanks, Matt. Stay humble. I like that. Me hung low. That's a very, very good point. I don't know why, but some people out there, and I think it's a sign of a disgusting human being, that people act as if they're more or less into the cause based on how many shares they have. That's nothing more than like it's so weird. That, like, I find that to be so strange, because a lot of this, the fight for market transparency and fairness, it's a lot of people that have been dealt like kind of a shit hand, and they're doing the best they can. And then you have people somehow thinking it's a flex because they're like, I have this many shares. What? Like, to me, if that's the attitude, if it ever come across someone's brain that they're like, oh, they're somehow like bigger or better because they own more, I like 100% in my book, and I'm not the one who gets to define it. I don't think anyone does, but in my book, that is like the opposite of what an ape actually is. If anything, like, we're kind of just in this together, trying to all improve our own financial situation, attempting to fix some of the issues in the market. And all of a sudden, when people think they're more important because they own more or less stock, like, what? Like, those people are asshats. Didn't Adam Aaron's some sort of surprise for this week? So apparently there's some sort of announcement that he's going to make on the earnings call. Do you see popcorn selling as a pathway for AMC to deploy commodity derivative risk mitigation strategy for corp debts, rate, and inflation spikes? PB, you read my mind. What a smart guy. I was joking. I did lose on AMC, PFE, and SPRT calls back in September. Ethereum and AMC keeping me green. Seriously, you and Keenan have me studying. I love that. King Magnetic, crush it. Crush it, crush it, crush it. Keep it going. Hey, man, one of the Twitch OGs is going through a rough patch currently. His mom is in the hospital as we speak. Think you could throw him some love. He is by far one of your biggest fans. His name is AMC Ape 1990. Oh, man. Clubfoot Philly, thank you for bringing this to my attention. AMC Ape 1990. I'm so sorry to hear that. His mom is in the hospital as we speak. I mean, there's no special words I can give to make that better. I can only sympathize a little bit there, try to do my best to empathize with whatever the emotional turmoil is. And it's stories like that kind of show of, even though a lot of us get so intertwined with what's going on in the market day to day, it's sobering things such as that bring you to that realization of, you know, sometimes there's more important things going on. Whatever's happening in your life right now, I wish you Godspeed. I hope it is resolved very, very quickly. You're definitely in my thoughts, man. Ding, ding, ding. The casino is open. Also, special shout out to the Citadel intern who is forced to watch me today. Hey, I know you have a fancy pedigree from a very fancy school, and you probably saw your life going differently than listening to me on a stream. I saw my life going differently too. So I'm right there with you. I feel your pain. I feel your frustration. If I had to watch me every day, I would, especially with whatever your fancy degree is. I think your anger at life is justified. And I just want to remind you, Mr. and or Mrs. Intern, hey, it's Friday. It's almost the weekend. Luckily, I don't stream on the weekend, so you're almost there. You just got to power through till 4 p.m. Hopefully, you can get off an hour early from work and just head home, kick back, and hang out with all your other fun Wall Street friends. But we're almost there. We are almost there, Mr. Intern. All right. AMC, just so you know, for the listeners out there, if you're not seeing these charts, AMC currently trading at 40.60, Gme at 217, PROG looking strong at 378, IWM taking a bit of a dip, Tesla at 1230 right now. Man, Tesla. What is this high? 1243 is the all-time high on Tesla. Not too far away. Little bit of bearishness at the open. Well, what are people thinking today? We got to get some of this momentum building up. Let's get PROG. PROG seems to be a little bit jumpy today. All right, what other? Ding, ding, ding. I said it first, shout out. Oh, is NVIDIA still ripping? Someone just said NVIDIA. You know, Pelosi deserves this. She was working into the night. She worked till 7 p.m., folks. She deserves this. Oh, man. I love that. The fact that CNBC, they're like, we need to get this in. And what they really mean is the fact that she was working late into the night when really she went home at 3 and she just had her staff and her interns working into the night to get it all done. We all know how it goes. SPY, new all-time high. Dingity ding ding ding. 469 and how much? 57 cents. So that's ripping. NVIDIA ripping. The Q's new all-time high above 400. Wow. Look at that. Money to be made. So I don't know how many of you guys noticed it, but I was losing my mind when I was checking out this thumbnail for the day. And by popular demand, we got Franklin in there. Franklin and his box of Cheez-Its. And we also kind of got his judgy face in there, which is probably one of my favorite aspects of that little creature, is just how judgmental he is when you don't want to go outside and play. So we got that. We got him in his peak dramatic look and his favorite box of Cheez-Its. Thank you. I am averaging 300 to 400% on SPY and Q calls because you taught me about seasonality in the markets. Ryan, congrats. Seasonality is a great way to make money. And obviously, I can't tell anyone what to do. All I can do is present information to you. And however you choose to use that information, that's up to you. You're in charge of your own money. But seasonality is a very strong force. And seasonally, this is one of the strongest points of the entire year. What are your thoughts on the GME getting syndicated loans? Since loans often secured total return swap, we know TRS can be used to short attack. Total return are often secured. No, this was an ABL one, PB. This was an asset-based liquidity loan. So they just probably put up whatever generic assets for the banks that wanted to give them money. This loan, I think is a very bullish thing. First of all, it's an improvement upon the previous one. So they have this revolving credit door. Previously, it was $420 million, and that deal expired in November of 2022. They kind of got rid of that one and got this better one, which is up to $500 million. And like I said, it's an asset ABL. It's an ABL facility, so it's asset backed, and it's $500 million. It's more flexible, lower interest. I think it's a very, very good move. Like I was saying yesterday, I think it just beefs up their war chest of allowing them to do what they need to in a more agile manner. Have you talked about log the float? You going to do it? Can we get cancel Gasparino trending? I don't know what log the float is. I have to look this up. What's this referring to? Log the float. This should answer a lot of questions about hashtag log the float initiative for AMC and Gme. Please share. It is difficult to read image using Reddit. Logthefloat.com goes live on Monday. Log your AMC shares. The number of shares you own, only shares, not options. Do not need to log already DRS shares. A screenshot of the number of shares you own. Please make sure your private information is removed, cropped. The screenshots will be available for community public verification. Wait. A screenshot, the number of people want you to screenshot it. I mean, but that could just prompt photoshopping. You would need to do it almost like the way Say Technology does, is when like it's actually checked with your brokerage. That's not valid information to just use a picture. Do you know how easily you could edit CSS on any page and be like, I own a gazillion shares? It would have to be more than just like the screenshot. The system would have to be similar to Say Technologies, where it's back checked by your broker to offer it some validity. But the concept of it makes a lot of sense to me, because one of the biggest problems right now is, I guess, us getting a good update, because I see a lot of people, especially in AMC, using that 80% number. I don't think we can use that number. I don't know if it's higher. I don't know if it's lower. I don't know if it's the exact same. But that was also from mid-June or early June, and we're now in early November. It was just too far away. So it'd be nice to just get like a share count, or even more. Like, there's a big lack of the true ownership of AMC and Gme right now. We don't know how many individuals are involved. We don't know how many institutions are involved. We don't know average ownership. It would just be nice to get an update on that data set. So anyway, Drake, I just realized what log the float was. So I don't know. Like, I think it could just be improved from a technology standpoint. Just like the pictures. Like, is someone going to go through and look at millions of pictures and like add them up? And that's even if we believe it. And like, we might give it validity as a community, but then regulators won't, because they're just going to say, hey, anyone can Photoshop it, or you don't even have to Photoshop it. You just edit the CSS on your brokerage. I think that's like one of the biggest issues, honestly, with I find it to be disheartening that Robinhood bought Say Technologies, because I feel like if Say Technologies stayed independent, what we could have done was like ask them or petition them to stay open for longer, and just be like, get people to register both AMC and Gme, and like just go more and more and more and more until like we hit a high percentage conviction, which a huge bummer. Huge bummer that Robinhood bought out Say Technologies. Do you think Robinhood is selling info to hedge funds on how many shares retail stocks? No, not at all. I mean, I remember that with most of these shares being traded on by market makers, people like Citadel Securities and Virtu already have that information, because they know how much payment for order flow they're doing. And to hedge funds, like individual hedge funds, not market makers, I don't know how much information, like value, that information would provide. All right. PROG. Looks like it wants to run up to 4. Matt, started trading with 500 in June. Between watching your channel and books, I'm now day trading and on my way to my first 100K. Thanks, Patrick. Congratulations. Would love to see AMC hitting 41.71 and hold over. Yeah, so I've been watching that level around 42 myself. So I think 42 is pretty important, but I really care about the lower 44s because that's kind of when we're getting to the top side of the wedge that we've seen, where we previously had that fake out breakdown. So if we get above 44, and we're now on the north side, and if that could hold, you can see some serious momentum getting built up. Where do you think Pfizer will end up on at end of day? Oh, I don't know. When you talk about individual days, there's just too much randomness involved. Overall, it's a nice gap up because of the news related to the oral pill that they're working. So it's a gap up. It's going a little red. Just be careful about the gap fill from whatever the high was yesterday. But where does it go? The shorter the time frame, the more randomness involved. So when you're asking, hey, where's it going to end up between now, 9:40 and 4 p.m., there's quite a bit of randomness involved in that. Like, I don't think anyone would have an idea. I would also like to say hi, Citadel. So you finally got wise and started reading these. Only took you 9 whole months. That's some really clever billions you keep throwing into Stack TVC. Thoughts on SNDL's November 11th earnings call? Will the suit's feet ever be taken off SNDL's neck? I mean, in the world of marinara plays, SNDL's not my favorite. I like Tilray better. It's just a more well-established company. It has more name recognition. It's a stronger fundamental business, Tilray. And people, I don't want you to get bogged down in, and I see this, and I think it's a mathematical misunderstanding. So right now, if you look at like Tilray to SNDL, people think that because it's cheaper, you have more upside, but that's not necessarily true. What you care about is the percentage gain. So right now, I saw someone, and this is, they were trying to explain of why they got into AMC over GME, and it's just because you're like, oh, I could buy more shares. But it doesn't matter. It matters the amount of money you put on the table and the percentage gain on that money, especially now with fractional share trading. So they were trying to say, oh, like I could buy 5 AMC for 1 GME. And mathematically, that doesn't make sense because you're still just putting $200 on the table. And what you care about is the percentage gain of your overall bet. And I see some people trying to say that with SNDL and Tilray because SNDL is cheaper. But once again, what you care about is the percentage gain of the total amount of money you bought. It's not a proper mathematical understanding just to say, oh, this is a cheaper stock so I can make more money. That's not a good way to think about it. Could you check WWEP recorded record revenue, but release more wrestlers to help achieve it? More fans are canceling subscriptions to their network. WWE, I'll write that down and we'll come back to it. PROG, having a good day, pushing its way up to 4. All right, WWE. Right, but you also care about price per share, which affects FOMO buying ability. No, I don't actually. Price per the stock market is a game of percentages, especially with fractional share buying now. The fact that you don't have to buy one individual share on many brokerages, it is completely poor thought to just look at the price of things. To say that AMC is like cheaper, well, in reality, it's not. AMC's market cap is 21 bill. GME's market cap is 16.6 bill. And then yet GME's trading at 200 and AMC is trading at just below 41 right now. So this concept of cheapness is not right when you just look at the price. What you have to look when you're valuating someone is the market cap. Like that's the value of the company, because it's just a mathematical sleight of hand of how many shares are out there. And it always comes back to percentages. It is way better to buy a stock that you think is going to have a bigger percentage gain. You should not be paying attention of just like the starting magnitude. You care about percentage gain because that's where you make your money. It's the total lot size of your bet. How much money have you put on the table? Like it's regardless of the stock value, especially when you can just be like, oh, I want to buy X dollars amount. You should care about percentage gains, not necessarily how many shares you have. And that's just it's a misunderstanding of the math of how these things work. For example, here, I have a perfect example for you. Let's say you have a stock that's $10 and it goes up to $20. That's 100% gain, and you put $10 on the table. You put $10 on, you got one share, it doubled up, you made $10. On the other side, let's say you have it's all just proportionate. You could buy 10 $1 stocks, like whatever it is, and the proportionate thing for there is still to double up to 2. And that's my point of, you just look at the percentages. If you go from $1 to $2, that's 100% gain. It's not appropriate just to say, oh, I have a better opportunity because it's a tenth of the price. You shouldn't care about that at all. You should care about what you think gives you the biggest percentage move. It's all about percentage, not magnitude. Thoughts on the future of EV space outside of Tesla, specifically MU and others to watch over the next few years. Outside of Tesla, I'm very much paying attention to Lucid. I'm very much paying attention to some of the upstream things, such as like lithium miners, LAC. You could track the overall industries with certain ETFs like ARKQ. Pay attention to Lucid. I pay attention to NEO. People ask me about it, so I feel like I end up paying attention quite a bit to things like ChargePoint, Fuel Cell. Those are ones that are definitely on the list, and I'm sure there's other ones that I'm just like forgetting about. But within that sector, I think there's quite a few. I used to pay a lot of attention to Workhorse and Hyliion, but they're just not as discussed anymore. What else is out there? Ford is making quite a few waves right now. Ford's doing really, really well. So that's one that's more so on my radar. PROG is crushing it. Very happy with my PROG position. Thoughts on SOXL? Thanks for all you do. So SOXL is tracking the semiconductor industry. It's think of the group of stocks like Nvidia, AMD, Intel. To me, that's an entire sector that I'm very, very bullish on. Nvidia's ripping, AMD's ripping, Intel's a little bit behind, but the sector, that semiconductor sector, as in the processing chips that we use in AI, data centers, fancy gaming computers, the demand for that stuff is incredibly high, and I just don't see it going anywhere. Thanks for messaging me with my personal life. I know you're improvised because the escort work was based on something she said, not anything you did. I look forward to your comeback around 2023 when you're building in a Farkin cinema. Brendan, what are we talking about? Am I missing something? Was this a follow-up? Thank you. Everything you do, Matt. Watch every day and support AMC movement from Canada. What are your thoughts on purchasing Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin? I don't own, well, I own Bitcoin Cash, but I didn't, that was like just from doing the Coinbase things. I own Bitcoin. I'm very bullish on Bitcoin, especially with my personal concerns for inflation right now. I think Bitcoin, there are many, many articles that believe in this current cycle we're in, Bitcoin could reach a $250,000, and then they expect like a notable sell-off. And then from there, the next cycle, they have no idea where it's going to go. I feel confident in saying at some point in the next couple decades, like I think it's going to take time, but I think at some point in the next couple decades, Bitcoin will be above $1 million USD per Bitcoin. Oh, I'm still talking to the intern. I get where you're going, Brandon. BMIX. All right, BMIX. Let me write that down. AMC looking good, just below 41. PROG looking amazing. We're looking for that breakout out of 4. SPY hit a new all-time high of 470, taking a bit of a breather right now. The Qs also hit a new all-time high. I was telling you about the psychological level of 400. It overshot it by 99 cents, now taking a breather. IWM actually holding the strongest. New all-time high at 243. Looks like it wants to pop and keep going. Do you know how to use the directional movement index for swings? I've read a couple of success stories, but I'm not sure. I'm actually not familiar with the directional movement index, Tyler. I'd have to look into that. I am very ill. I've been following you since January, back when you used to dance for the live stream. SNDL, AMC, GME are my nest eggs for my daughter. Hey, I hope it works out better than you could ever imagine. AMC plus apes, going to the moon. What's going on, Max Capital? Hope you're having a great day. PROG is crushing it. I'm curious. Right here, we have about 11,000 just in here, let me know. How many of you are in PROG right now, like actively have some sort of PROG position? Let me know. I see a lot of PROG excitement. I'm just curious how many of you are actually in PROG. A lot of people in PROG. Whoa, more than, like, chat just blew up right there. Very, very interesting. Tesla selling off. Wow. Wow. Someone just said, I just chased. It happens. It happens. All right, let's watch IW. I'm trying to break here. PROG me, baby. PROG me, baby. Did you see the patent application NVIDIA filed yesterday for holographic AR VR headset? No, that is crazy. NVIDIA, what will they think of next? Can you look at fuel cell over the last few days? I shut up Monday and has traded sideways ever since. The option chain makes me think that market makers are going to max pain this week. I have 950 calls for next Friday and I'm praying for another rip. Do you see this breaking out of its sideways pattern? Fuel cell. Hey, Pfizer going green, going notably green. No, fuel cell, this is a tough one. The other, Matt, it's just, this is a classic consolidation. You have a classic bull flag. It shoots up lower highs, higher lows. You just have to wait for the consolidation. And unfortunately, with years expiring in a week, theta is kind of eating you alive right now. Could momentum come out of nowhere? Yeah, of course. But right now, it is a classic consolidation pattern. AMC versus GME price matter for options. It can matter, but also the volatility of the equity is going to be like very, very important. Sometimes AMC is very expensive and GME's not, or vice versa. And then that can come down to the volatility aspect of pricing. 40K shares deep in PROG. Let's go. Whoa, that's a huge position. I hope you're crushing it. I mean, you must be very excited today. Must be very excited. Are there two PROG? Mine is not moving. Kinky Kong. There is PRG, which is PROG Holdings, and that's different. Make sure you're talking about Progenity right here. PROG should be the ticker. PRG is PROG Holdings, different company. Proglodites unite. What's going on miles away? CRTX gap fill. CRTX gap fill. If it gets momentum, it seems like it's kind of boring right now. What is this? It's a biotech play. They probably had something announced that obviously was not good. If it gets above 2020, you would have that opportunity. But first, I would personally want to see that momentum. AMC just made a new intraday high. We were watching that 42 level. Up 150% on PROG, exercise 150 call yesterday. King Magnetic, crushing it, man. Congrats. Thank you, Matt. I'm glad I'm someone with Crohn's and had to inject Humira. That PROG is running and people care about it. I have over 500 shares. You know, and that's what I've been trying to get across. Does PROG have the ability to short squeeze? It does. It really does have those metrics. That is not why I'm in it. If it happens, that's cool. I'll lock in some tendies, wait for the breather and buy again. But I think PROG is truly fundamentally undervalued. Right now, PROG is trading at, it has a market cap of $530 million. But it's eyeing up to disrupt a $10 billion a year plus industry through Humira alone. And we're not talking about the other pillars of its business, exclusively Humira. If it pulls off what it's trying to do with its patents, it's going to get quite a bit of market share of Humira itself. To me, its valuation of $530 million, it's just too low. It's too low for the world it's about to disrupt. So for that, I'm just in it. And if it squeezes, that's awesome. I just think it's a truly fundamentally undervalued company. That's why I bought it. I do, if it squeezes in the short term, I do have some calls for mid-November, but more so I care about my stock position, my long position, which you can actually see on public. But to my understanding, Humira, I don't take it myself, but to my understanding, Humira right now, the common method of administration is injection, but PROG has the patent for an oral method. And obviously people are always going to choose to take an oral method over an injection method. So if they are successful in this current endeavor, it's clearly undervalued. Thoughts on SHAK? Wall Street Viking. PROG? What's that? LOL. Let's go. All right. SHAK. Wrote that. Crushing my 350 PROG calls got 2 days ago on a red day. Speaking of things that end in OG, I think we need to jump on this early before holidays. Going long on EGG. Oh, eggnog. Eggnog calls to the moon. Trey Subway Cup, what's going on? 11. I am so confused on whatever technical issues you have that you have to send like an odd amount, like a strange amount for super chats to work. It's so weird. Thoughts on SKT? All right, let me write that down. I have 2000 PROG. I take Humira for Crohn's. Okay, this might be interesting. So to the people out there who have taken Humira and or are currently taking Humira, and obviously do not answer this if you don't want to, I'm curious, like, to the people who are the true consumers of this, is PROG's patent and effort a big deal, or are people overstating it? I think that's a very fair question. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, obviously no one wants an injection. I'd rather just take a pill, but maybe it's not that big of a deal. And maybe people like myself are getting a little bit too excited. So if you are out there and you have taken Humira or you're currently taking it, and let us know, like maybe we are overstating it. 80,000 shares of PROG, cost average 260. Ian, that's awesome. All right, so the first thing I see, it's better. The next thing I see is overstating. Someone else said big. The injections hurt. AMC needs to break out. Thoughts on DraftKings earnings. So DraftKings, they missed on earnings, and we're seeing the sector go down, but also Kathy Wood at ARK Invest just bought some back up. Penn, I believe, also down on the day. This stuff is just crazy. The Penn National Gaming, okay, I want to say something about this, of this sell-off. And for a second, let me take your emotions and the visceral reaction to the story itself about Dave Portnoy out of the equation. I want to talk about this exclusively from a financial situation. Exclusively. This is in no means my commentary. Between market open, 9:30 a.m., and the release of the article, in that time period, $1.5 million worth of aggressive puts were purchased. And when I say aggressive puts, I mean people going out of their way to rapidly hit the ask because they wanted the position. Yes, there were some whales, like there were about 2 to 5 positions that I would consider larger, but a high majority of these trades were between $2,500 and $20,000. So there were a few whales, but many of them were actually smaller. But once again, there were way more puts bought, but I'm talking about exclusively hyper-aggressive puts, which have now all about 10 to 20x for the remainder of the day. From the position, if you got in before the article release to the end of it, end of the day, they were up about 10 to 20x. Like I said, about $1.5 million in bets. With it, you don't know. Was the concept of this article that like it was going to be released? Did people know it, and were they betting early? Was there media insiders that were making a bet, or were people just reacting to the earnings announcement? Because before the market opened, Penn National Gaming did have its earnings announcement, and it was not a good earnings announcement. So it's one of these things of, did some people know, and was it shrouded in the fact that they're like, oh no, this is earnings, this is a legitimate bet, I'm allowed to take this bet? That's perfect cover. That is, and unless there's like an investigation into it, like how would anyone ever know? But it really is the perfect cover. And a lot of you might be saying, well, okay, that's like, that takes someone who has an intimate knowledge of the market to know how to kind of cover those things up and to even make those bets and to understand how it would impact a stock. You don't know. It really does take someone with insider knowledge of like market mechanics and to understand how an article could impact a person and its company. You just don't know. You do not know. And I can't put out my own guess because I don't work at any of these companies. I don't know who said what. I don't know anything. But the data is interesting. But also after the data, it's just quite a bit of conjecture from that point. And unless you're the person placing the trade or unless you're like an investigator looking at all the trades and the owner of those trades, I don't know if the answer is ever going to be out there. Unfortunately, the article itself was put behind a paywall. Like you could get it for $1. I saw on social media that people were upset with that of just like, if it's an important story for our society, our world, I understand the gripe of why would you put that behind a paywall. It's weird because like, I feel like when I say this type of stuff, people are going to get mad. Like if my views aren't exactly the same as yours, so I'm trying to like tiptoe around it. I focus on the data. I focus on the analytics of the situation. I found the data to be interesting. I just wanted to share that with you. I hope none of you out there are taking this to be like a social commentary on the situation. The social commentary from my point is I do find it weird that the article was put behind a paywall. I find that to be strange on a personal level, just because I feel like if you're trying to get something out there for the betterment of society and culture, I don't know why it's behind a paywall then. I find that strange. But I hope no one's taking this as like any more comment on like the social things, because that's just not my place to talk about it. Lord Conrad, thank you. Matt, I took an OTRK and I asked you about it a few weeks ago and you said you wouldn't really look at it until it hit 11. Okay, OTRK. Are we getting some momentum there? I had flipping PRG and it showed up as PROG. Well, it looks like it's called PROG Holdings, the name of the company, but the ticker's PRG. I'm so sorry, Kinky Kong. That's such a pain in the ass. Dude, people have to pay bills and stuff. Yeah, but also this isn't one of those things where it's like New York Times and most of them are behind a paywall. The publishing company decides like what is and what isn't behind the paywall. So if you have a piece of journalism and your attempt is to spread the word of what's going on, to me, that's not something you put behind a paywall, especially when the company is just like kind of picking. I feel like that was a bit weird. They were like trying to go out of their way to get people to sign up for subscriptions. And if, to me, I interpreted it in the sense of they were putting their bottom line of taking in money ahead of the alleged victims. Like they're like, okay, your story is important and we care about your story, but first you have to pay us. Like it seems like they cared about their bottom line, getting money and getting signups more than they did. And that's weird. Like, how does that not make people feel weird? And I hear this argument of like, well, they have bills to pay. Okay. Yeah, obviously. But like you still had advertisers, like you sell advertisements on the page, like Business Insider day over day gives out many free articles. And the way they pay for that is advertisers on the side. And I don't know, I should probably shut up about this because it's going to get into a weird, sticky social situation. But it very much confuses me of why that was put behind a paywall. Very much confuses me. Do I own PROG? Yes, I do. PROG. I am in this. I've been in this now for like a couple weeks, I believe. But this is one of the hot topics that we discuss in the Discord. Someone said PROG to 60. If PROG goes to 60, I'm going to lose my mind. I will lose my mind. CVM, biotech stock that I bought collapsed. Do you think about graph and possible short squeeze? What do you think about graph? What do I think about graph? Hang on. A biotech stock that I bought collapsed. What do you think about graph and possible short squeeze? CVM. All right, I'm writing that down, Lord. Logan, the new needles used have made injectables more tolerable, much smaller. However, 2 routes of admin increase usage. I am a board cert NP in Louisiana. Oh, Jeffrey. Okay. That's interesting input. I like that. Whoops. Where did my live stream comments go? You guys all disappeared on me. All right, now you're back. Bro, talk about Sava. So Sava, we talked about that quite a bit yesterday of the gap fill. I was linking up to 115, and I still think that's a possibility. So this sold off with the assumption of it being that they were being accused of fabricating data. It came out yesterday that they did not fabricate data, and we shot up to $100. I still think it gap fills up to 115 and maybe continues past that. That's the story on Sava. I would currently be bullish on it because they just said, no, we did not fabricate data. And that's what it was agreed upon. To whoever asked you about those Starbucks calls on Monday, thank you. I've made a killing this week with that gaps fill. Still going. Jackie, congratulations. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of people asking me about OTRK. Is something happening with it? Whoa. Okay, so OTRK is looking great. It broke above resistance. It's now at the next resistance of 1350. If it goes from there, then I'd be watching 1550. And after that, I would watch the gap fill at 2060. That's what I would watch. I have no OTRK position. It's a little bit chasey because like your risk point is probably 10 or 11. So like if you're okay with risking that, it's a little bit of a wider risk, but I mean, 1550 looks to be the next stop, and then you're looking at the vacuum gap fill of 2060. GameStop is not doing anything today. In fact, in some of these 1 minute time frames, it's really just not trading. That's unfortunate. Where's the volume on GameStop? Thoughts on SHIB over the next month or so? Very much depends on what the whales decide to do. And then after that, it very much depends on the burn rate and if they can increase that. And hopefully they get a little bit more development on their NFTs and can increase the burn through there. All right, let's check out some of these. So OTRK looks very strong. If you were fortunate or kind of aggressive and got a position early on, like you must be smiling right now. CVM. I know someone said they got crushed, but this is actually fighting back. You have kind of a flipped cup and handle, a handle and a cup. But nonetheless, if you can get this push above 13, it might have a fighting chance. You would obviously want to check into why it got like destroyed for 3 days there. Definitely check into that and see what's going on. All right, people were asking me about WWE. They had good revenue, but they also let go, I guess, of quite a bit of their talent, and that is not being received well. I would say you have this major support around 56 where it kind of bounced, but also the resistance here. So I would be watching that. Maybe you can get a U-turn off of it. If it breaks down, though, the next one would probably be 52.30-ish. Someone asked me about BMI. BMI, producer, manufacturer. This thing looks like if it can pop above 108, it would probably test 112, but this thing is like, it looks like it's coiling up for the next move. I don't know anything about it. Obviously, I have no position, but just from a pure technical, very much range bound, but it's looking like it wants to get out of that range. So potentially interesting opportunity. Volume for GME is currently 390,000. Yeah, very low. Very, very low. I mean, look at these charts right here. It's just not trading much. Speculation, but I personally believe PROG can push $5 plus. We could see a gamma short squeeze potentially, and I agree with you that it's undervalued anyway. Tracy, what do I think about Dave on Twitter and Wyckoff theory? I don't know if I'm familiar with this account or his particular Wyckoff theory. So Wyckoff theory is already like an established thing. I don't know like if he put his own twist on it. I don't know who this account. It says that this account doesn't exist on Twitter. Did I have a typo? I just copied and pasted. Who is this? Yeah, I'm not seeing this account, so I can't comment fairly. on it. And then someone else asked me about SHAK. Shake Shack must have crushed their earnings, and it's ripping above resistance. It's at the next level of resistance of 93, and then I'd be watching 100. If it could keep going, obviously this is the enthusiasm, that they must have had a good quarter. I'd watch the support at 79-ish. Hang on, here's another one. Dave Jr. Let me try to find this account. Is the ticker at Marino Dave Jr.? Is that the, or not his ticker, his at? This guy looks to be more of a voting guy. I'm not seeing anything about the Wyckoff. Does anyone have like the tweets are protected? Yeah, I'm having a tough time tracking down this account. Did you see, Matt, that all of the AMC insiders exercised all of their stock options on November 1st? Yeah, they converted their options over to stock. Oh, now it came up. Okay, I have this, Dave. Yeah. I don't know why I had such a tough time finding it. Anything about a Wyckoff? Wyckoff. The thing I'm seeing about Wyckoff, he says, looks like clear backup phase in Wyckoff accumulation on shorter time frames. I don't think we go below 40. I guess I don't know what his overall Wyckoff theory is. Like Wyckoff is a well-known thing, and I haven't seen his videos detecting Wyckoff distributions. So is he just applying normal Wyckoff to it? Is that what's going on? I'd have to check it out. I can't say if it's good or bad or give my opinion. I just don't know what he has or hasn't said. Tommy's touch. As of the moment, almost no shorts in the money on PROG. Love it. Love it. It's not his, just applying normal Wyckoff. Okay. Wyckoff's a well-known thing. I mean, I've seen circumstances of it working beautifully and other circumstances of when it doesn't. I myself haven't tracked the percentage accuracy of Wyckoff on AMC or GME. That's maybe something, a little project I could get into this weekend if people are interested. But Shake Shack crushing it, absolutely crushing it. How is DraftKings? DKNG. Oh, look at that dip. Immediately bought on DraftKings. And Penn not really moving right now. Not really moving. Lucid. Someone said Lucid's moving. What's going on with LCID? Lucid, this is a strong pattern. You're getting the follow through on a bullish pennant. Lucid's looking good. Lucid might be, if this gets going, you might be getting a gap fill. Jeez. The gap fill would be around 56-ish. Not a bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Just had a message from Matt on Instagram and he's live on here. That's because it's not me. I am not DMing people on Instagram. In fact, I posted my first picture on Instagram for the first time in like many months. I'm just not the biggest Instagram person. I need to get better at it. But if you want to check it out on Instagram, it's above my head, Matt_Kohrs. That's also Twitter. That's also Twitch. Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram, Matt_Kohrs. Make sure, please check the spelling. So on YouTube, Rumble, and Twitter, there's verified. There's a check mark. If you want to see if it's me, look for the check mark. On Instagram, I'm not verified, so just check for the spelling. But I am not DMing you about like an investment opportunity or anything like that. Matthew, short-term play BTC back to 66, roughly 61.6 now. Worthwhile. Just insight, not asking for wrinkles. Appreciate it. Big shop. I feel confident about that. Actually, I'd bring it to the next level, and I would say I feel confident about a test in the short term between now and the end of the year of like a new all-time high. Hey, bud. Yoshi token about to burn 5 trillion, has a great platform and a lot of growth. Check it out, my duck. Will do. Lucid actually looking very nice right now. Do I have this whole messed up transfer thing from Webull to public has like messed up my plan. Frustratingly so. All right. No. Ooh, AMC just caught a pop there. How do I do this? Yeah, I just have to deposit more money to make this all work. All right, unable to. I would like to get Lucid. I'd like to get Penn. I'd like to get DraftKings, but this mess up in the transfer is messing up everything for me. So I have not purchased any of those today, but I very much wish I could purchase those right now in real time. All right, GME needs to get some volume. AMC, kind of an interesting consolidation. But look at Lucid. This is painful to miss out on. If you're in it, seriously, congratulations. I think this thing keeps going. PROG, hopefully this can catch itself. Can you look at CYBN and tell me your opinion? CYBN. Looks pretty weak to me. It's been in a bear trend ever since August. I just don't see buyers stepping in. I do like the double bounce off of 180. So if it could hold that, you have minimal risk. But that's the line in the sand for support for sure. Are there any websites similar to FinViz or Tiblio that talk about stock gaps, trying to find more gap plays, or just information in general? Yeah, actually, Benzinga right here, opening gaps. You can get, like, you could put in a bunch of stocks that you pay attention to, and it alerts you if they're, hang on, I don't know why is it not loading here? Let me just reload the page. But Benzinga, you can actually like put in all the stocks you care about. And as you can see, you could do opening gaps, closing gaps, that type of stuff. You just put in a bunch of tickers and you'll get an alert for any of the gaps. Delco loves AMC. Hey, Nicholas, I'm not too far away from you, man. A little bit north. Matt, what are your thoughts on 8 calls for 467 expiring today? I'm up 277%. Expiring today and you're up 277? Lock it in. Lock that in. That's what I would do. Geez, like if it's expiring today, every single minute that passes, you're fighting theta. So unless it continues upward, you need it to go upward just to retain your amount of profit right now. And then to get more profit, you need it to go even more in your favor. On a Friday, you're already up and it expires today. Lock it in, kick your feet up, enjoy your Friday, get ready for the weekend. A 277% gain. That's crazy, man. Be stoked about it. That's how, I don't know. I just don't get too greedy with it. 277% for playing a weird game on the computer that's just numbers and rectangles and wicks and this and that. Maybe late, but have you addressed the rise in FTDs over AMC over 27%? Saw an article this AM stating such. Yeah, that was a very poorly written article. Technically, it's accurate, but it's a very poor understanding of data. If you want to see the FTDs, they're right here. 2,700% to 79,000. Previously, we've had millions and millions and millions. This article is very much, I don't know what the starting date was. They didn't use 65,000. They just picked a low day and then compared it to October 15th, which is just insane. That it was such a, like, here's the data. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of this. This is what they're talking about in the FTDs. So they just used an arbitrary starting point to make this number look a lot higher, as in a 2,700% increase, when in reality, the FTDs were the most extreme on AMC at the end of June. And then, like, it's just a mathematical sleight of hand. And I just think that's a very immoral way to report it. Very, very immoral. Voxadia, he only reads paid comments, but he sees all. No, I just read yours. Kind of just reading, really my methodology is just kind of reading what I want to read. Like, I mean, like, does anyone else, like, maybe I'm the odd man out, but does anyone find that weird that, like, that's clickbaity, that's confirmation bias, isn't it? Or am I just, like, losing my mind to just bring up this data, and I don't even know what the starting date was. It had to be, I don't know, like, what, mid-October? He just used, or she, I don't even know who wrote it. They just used this number. Let's figure out what number they used. So 70, so 27. So it's 79,000 divided by 27. So he found a number that was around 292. What number was that? Had to be one of these, like, these days. All right, now mine is just, like, frozen and not working. But, like, I don't know. I find it to be a bit immoral, because that's just, like, you can make percentages look huge when the magnitude is not in any way, like, representative of that. To me, that's a clickbait article. Hey, click on my blog, I'm selling advertiser spots. That it's just, like, an immoral way to go about things. It's not wrong, but it is a poor interpretation of data. I've been selling covered calls on half my position and selling puts a few strikes out of the money where I don't mind adding to my position. It's a tweak of the wheel strategy. What do you think about it? I think it sounds like you understand it very well. I very much like that. That's awesome. Introverts United. That's a great strategy if you're comfortable with it. Doma BBBY, by the way, good morning, apes and Maximilians. All right, let's check out Doma. This looks very bad. Please, I would avoid this one. What is going on? This is not a good situation. I just don't see any nice trend on it. Looks kind of ugly. BBBBY. Looks like it's about to do its gap fill to the south side. 1681. It's at support right now. If it can't hold on to the low 19s, I would just be looking for this gap fill to 1681. Wait, no investment DMs? That Nigerian Prince deal wasn't you? Anna, cancel the check to Matt's totally real Nigerian spam scam. Hey, Matt, thoughts on crypto coin? Satima looks like they're going to be offering something in the medical field. I didn't hear about that, but that could be cool. I see a lot of people asking me about that crypto. So it seems like it's somehow successfully building up enthusiasm. And in the world of these altcoins, it sounds like enthusiasm is definitely a notable plus to have. What are your opinion on me? Me as a person, like you as a person? Awesome. Great. 23andMe as a company looks like it's just trying to run back up to 1350 and test that. That's resistance. The risk reward's out of whack. Your risk is 11 and your reward is 50 cents. So it's it's not in your favor. You're risking $2 to get 50 cents. It looks strong, but if you don't already have a position, that looks really tough. That's a tough trade. You're kind of, what's that saying? You're bending down to get pennies in front of like a steamroller type of a situation. It's the risk reward is not there. It looks strong, but I wouldn't do it personally. Ask yourself. The first question shouldn't be, hey, like if I get this right, how much money could I make? The question should be like, if I get this wrong, how much money could I lose? That has to be your first question. Hang on, I do want to find. Yeah, this is bad. I'm looking at the blog right now entitled AMC fails to deliver jump 2,700%. It's not a good way to look at data. As of October 14th, the last day is the latest data set. They stood at nearly 80,000. Yeah, but what they don't tell you here is that it was previously in the millions. Like this was the crazy period. This right here should not happen. I don't know how to make this like more explicitly clear, but from June 18th till July 1st, I guess, July 2nd, this is bad. Like this is so many freaking red flags that someone out there should be like, what the hell is going on? This time period in late June, very early July, that deserves a legitimate investigation. This should not happen. That's a huge percentage. It was consistent. This makes absolutely no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. And in fact, in a certain way, it's reminiscent of what happened in the early year for GME. Look at these huge amount of spikes. This shouldn't happen. That is not a system that's working the way it should. People are doing positions and not delivering for whatever reason, whatever type of FTD it is. Remember, all naked shorts are FTDs, but not all FTDs are naked shorts. We don't know what type of FTDs they were because they don't give you that type of information. But this in the early year, in January on GameStop, that's not good. That should be investigated. This in June on AMC is not good, should not happen, should be investigated. But to now be talking about like this as like as some sort of like important big number of 80,000, no, the smoking gun of something that should be investigated was obviously in June. It was so obviously in June. Lucid's looking awesome. Yo, Matt, are you familiar with XYO and your thoughts on the geospatial crypto network? No. If XYO is a particular coin or token, I'm not familiar with that one. Matt, what books or videos have helped you the most to understand the market so well? I don't know if there's just one. I mean, I've probably read like 50 or 75 different books on all aspects on options, stocks, futures, psychology. The more the merrier. Like, I don't think it's like an individual book thing. I've read a lot. I've listened to a lot of audiobooks. There's a lot of amazing opportunities for you, like to either find the PDF for free or like just $10 on Amazon or something like that. Like, I'm biased to like hardcover books or like physical books. It's easier for me to actually read it. But just start, and like you're gonna read one book and then it's gonna say, hey, check out this one, recommended. And what I did was I would just buy it. I'd buy like 1, 2, or 3. I would see the next recommended ones. I'd buy those. Also, depending on the town you're in, you're probably go get a library card. They're free. Just sign up for a library card. Ask them, be like, where's your stock finance session? And just start there, and you're going to read one, and then you might see another interesting title or cover, and the more curious you are, the better. For me, I'm trying to think of what I have right here. The ones I've been reading more recently relate to psychology. I think that's very, very important because I feel I feel pretty competent and grounded in like just my structural understanding of what's going on. So I think the interesting point for me in my career truly is psychology. But I'm trying to think of the ones that got me going. The ones that really got me going were like algorithmic related, because that's what I needed help with, was like coding programs on the futures market. But in terms of just like straight up like stocks and options, I mean, you can make a lot of headway even from like, there's solid videos on YouTube. There are very solid videos on YouTube that explain that kind of stuff. Flash Boys is good. You'll learn more about the story of IEX, but I get it. Like, I don't want to necessarily sit here and recommend things that you need to pay for. Like, I mean, I think a lot of books, like you can get them for cheap, but if you're not in the situation to be able to spend that money, seriously, check out the library. I bet your local library has an amount of like a great amount of free books. You rent them out, you read it over the weekend, you take some notes, you give it back, you go back and get like the next book. Libraries are a great option to get going. And with that, if you don't want to go to the library, you can find a lot of these, like people have put them on PDFs online that you could find, or you find an audiobook or something like that. There are many excellent options for you to continue your career for free. Loop rings. Loop ring is just crushing it right now. I mean, the enthusiasm between Loop ring and GameStop, this thing is looking very, very strong. I'm not in it, and that's because I'm comfortable with my GameStop itself. But man, some of these gains are incredible. If this pushes above $1.37, I think you're then watching for $1.75. Did you give them the dog toys and did they like them? It's been a while. You must have already said. Are you going to? Yeah, so I don't know the next time I'm dog sitting, but they have the toys. They've had them now for many weeks, and they love them. They love them so much, Haley. I appreciate that. Ken Griffin looks like Phil. Oh, Randall. Hey, Chair, sup match. I'm still beating the eardrum joke. Similar play like Sava, potential gap up to 875, from 875 to 20. They will get a slap on the wrist from the Fed, then gap fill, #profit. #profit. I'm up 200% on NVIDIA calls expiring for the November monthlies. Do you see it continuing in this trend? No, NVIDIA, I think it hit a new all-time high today. Oh, here was my drawing. Here's the real NFT I should be selling. According to my drawing, it looks like we're going to top out at 322.17, and you can expect that to the cent level. This is professional charting done at its best. In reality, though, you just ride the trend and you wait for it to show some weakness, and then as soon as it shows it, your goal shouldn't be to top tick on this one, in my humble opinion. What it should be to do is ride the trend as long as you can. And then when it shows a bit of weakness, get out. That's probably the best way to handle stock. You said you have options. With options, as you get closer and closer, theta is going to get greater and greater. So you might want to start thinking about like kind of scaling out, like locking in some nice on a pop and then like hoping it goes up a little more. Like slowly but surely scale out is probably the mindset I would personally have on it. But congratulations. Just sold SHIB out on Coinbase and bought back on Voyager to avoid transfer fees. I like the reoccurring buy setup. Great for long-term holds. I like it as well. Shout out, Justin. Oh, hey, Mark. Looking into SOLX, saw that it's a leveraged ETF. What's your take on leverage versus inverse ETFs? Thanks for all you do, Papyrus. So inverse means that it moves oppositely. So there are inverse SPY ETFs. So like if the SPY goes up, this ETF would go down. If the SPY goes down, the ETF would go up. Inverse just means the opposite direction, while leverage means a bigger magnitude. So if the SPY goes up 1%, a leveraged ETF, it's 3x leverage, it would go up 3%. But if it drops 1%, this ETF would drop 3%. So you also have leveraged inverse ETF. So if the SPY were to go up 1%, you could have something that goes down 3%. Or if the SPY goes down 1%, this one would go up 3%. So leverage and inverse are not opposites of each other. You can have a leverage inverse one, you could have just a leverage one, you could have just an inverse one. Inverse is opposite, leverage is some sort of magnitude greater of whatever the direction of the underlying asset is. All right. AMC holding around 40.50. PROG making that base at 30.80. Look for PROG to get back above 3.90. Lucid crushing it. Like I said, I wish I bought some earlier, and that was even a bit chasey. But just seeing what's going on with Lucid right now and the daily technical structure, I'm very happy with it. But what else do we have? They don't have to be shorts. They can be naked calls, naked shorts. Oh, there's various types of FTDs. That's a very good point. Naked shorts do not consume all of FTDs. There's FTDs are, it's more of a general blanket statement. And at the highest level, it means that either one party didn't have the money or the other party didn't have the goods. Hence the delivery failed, like literally the delivery of the whatever the asset is. A type of that is naked shorting, but there are other types of FTDs. That's a very good thing. Even if people are being distracted and making money on other stocks, they will come back and FOMO hard when AMC runs, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, I kind of agree with that, but also we're in no position to tell other people what to do with their money. I think it's, I don't know, it's not much better than like a petulant child. When people are like, it's a distraction, you shouldn't be in that. Who are you to tell other people what to do? Like, I just, people are involved in the market right now for a myriad of reasons. And one of the major reasons is to improve their own financial situation. Let them do what they feel is best. You can have your own opinion on things. Let them have their own opinion on things. But if you think you're the arbiter of someone else's financial decisions, you are literally no better than the same ideology of these Wall Street elites of who they think they know best. Do not be like them. You have no right to tell someone else what to do with their money. I don't tell anyone what to do with their money. You shouldn't, and everyone should feel free to do whatever they want. And this attacking of like, you gotta be in this, it's like, what? It really comes off to me as like a weird sense of jealousy of like, you're just mad that people are making money on whatever, SPRT, DWAC, PROG, SHIB, Doge, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, Micro, any of them. It just, if people are getting pissy about it's a distraction, what, you're just mad they're making money. We just don't have the right to tell other people what to do. You should not be telling people what to do. If you want to share your own opinion, if you want to say something like, I'm exclusively in equity, whatever, because of this, that's cool. And you can have a reasonable discussion about it. But when people attack other people, right away, that other person's going to shut down. They're going to think you're a dum-dum and they're not going to listen to you. It's not going to be a fruitful discussion. If you're so confident in your position, first of all, you shouldn't care what other people are doing then because you're so confident in your own. But if you're really that confident, you should be able to articulate why you're thinking that way, your thought process. And you should be able to like hopefully get them to see some of your light, but to be like, you have to do this. And if you're not in, I like that. Of like, you're not in it. Like what? As if that's like a defined thing. It's crazy. Matt, jealous of Nancy Pelosi? 100%. 100%. I'm not jealous that Nancy Pelosi had to work into the night. She was working real hard. I am jealous of her multi-million dollar gain on Nvidia over the past 5 months. Over the past 5 months, I am thoroughly jealous she's made millions of dollars. Loopring is only connected to GME, but their tech is incredible. Allows for marketplaces with zero gas fees based on ETH. Besides GME hype, it's really bullish. You to take a look at it. So what I know about it is pretty much what you just explained there, and I just don't have it. I'm not even necessarily sure of where to get it. If anyone knows where to buy Loopring, but creating an NFT marketplace that doesn't have gas fees, that's incredible. That's incredible. If they can pull that off, I just expect it to like rip. I mean, that technology, if they can pull that off, that's awesome. That's so awesome. But Coinbase has it. I'm seeing a lot of people say Coinbase. All right, whatever. Let's do it. Where's Loopring? Why is it not coming up? Oh, because it has to be compared. Loop ring, sorry. Loop ring, I'll buy it. Whatever. You said it's on Coinbase. I'll buy a little bit. We'll support GameStop in a unique way. All right, just threw in the buy order. I'm joining the loop ring party. And a weird derivative bet on GameStop with more exposure to crypto. Done and done. And I know Crow's going crazy as well. Crypto's. I'm gonna just bought some loop ring. I joined the loop ring party. Welcome to the loop ring party. And like everyone hits the alarms. They're like, all right, Matt bought, time to sell. Time to get out. The party was fun while it lasted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm the one who ruined it. Did it go through? Loop ring, loop ring, loop ring. Okay, yeah, it went through. Loop ring, loop ring. Man, the fees. I hate these stupid fees. They add up so much. All right, AMC waking up. Look for it to get above, I guess, 40.80 on an intraday basis, but it's AMC's done a very good job of going nowhere today. We're just kind of awkwardly between 40.30 and 41.30. We're just in this dollar. We're just waiting. Hey, Matt, could you give us a little reminder of what needs to happen for AMC to explode? Yeah, I mean, at the most inherent level, and I don't mean this facetiously, you just need a large amount of demand. What causes a price to go up, what causes a stock, equity, crypto to go up is when the demand greatly outweighs the supply. So at the price of anything out there, it's the equilibrium between buyers and sellers. So for the price to go up, you need there to be an imbalance and for there to be a lot more buyers, aggressive buyers than there are sellers. So with it in AMC, you need either a technical development, a fundamental development that gets people excited, so they buy. We break over some important level where the shorts get scared, so they get out, and them getting out involves more buying, and then it goes up more, and then you see some FOMO buying, maybe a bit of a gamma squeeze. But overall, it's still just buying. Like, you still just need demand. That's what causes it. And you need the demand to build up, momentum to build up. Personally, I don't care where it comes from. I don't care if it's a technical development. I don't care if it's a fundamental development. I don't care if it's Elon tweeting about AMC, Gme, any of that. But at the end of the day, what you need is more aggressive buying, and you need it to be sustained to the point that it gets out of hand and it prompts FOMO buying, a gamma squeeze, and or a short squeeze. And obviously, they can work in concert together. Loopring jumps on Pico influencer Matt Kohrs buys some live on YouTube. Pico influencer. I need to get a shirt that says that, like just Pico influencer. I know my place in the world of influence. I need to get to that level where people start asking me about my skincare routine. I love that. I love that so much, of just like all these typically females on social media. They're like, I get this question all the time. What is my skincare routine? I want to get to that level when they're like, Matt, we need to know. And then like, that would be my cut to a TikTok. And I'm just like spraying Dawn dish soap on my face, like just really far, all that blue sudsy soap. Don't let anyone on social media tell you what to do with your money. Also, Matt, okay, I'll bow to the pressure and buy some. Well, I know about Loopring though. Like it wasn't social media. I like GameStop. I like NFTs. It had nothing to do with social media, unless you want to argue that NFTs have something to do with social media, which they could. But one of the biggest issues with NFTs right now really is the gas fees. And Loopring is a unique opportunity to battle that. I want to know what kind of shampoo you use. I think Old Spice. There's like some weird, I think there's like an elk on it or something. I don't know. There's some weird animal on it. Pico influencer. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. You serious about Dawn? Of course. That's how I remain, how I have such a clean complexion. Dawn dish soap is the secret. Works for baby ducks. It works for me. Using my free chat just to say RIP Dakota, your memory will forever be cherished, and we will see you in Valhalla. Since I have 200 characters, I'll end this chat with the most beautiful word. Poop. What's going on? Loop ring is not loop. Correct. It is not LOOP. Two different things there. Matt, you really shouldn't wash your face with Dawn dish soap. That's what you want me to believe. Charlie Gasparino's tweet about AMC. Yeah, that guy, he's just going to make you frustrated. He really will. Pico influencer is like the Ant-Man of Marvel. Not bad. What is the correct ticker? Well, LRC. Loop, like, you have to find it on a crypto thing. Is there a stock that's a loop? Is that why? Yeah, it's not LOOP. You have Loop Industries, you have Loop Up, you have Loop Share. You want to find the LRC to USD conversion. PROG, unfortunately, not holding right now. SPY. Matt, we had a huge amount of demand before, but PFOF destroyed it completely. We need a huge lawsuit against PFOF and naked shorting, for my opinion. PFOF doesn't stop demand, though. Wait, I don't understand that. We had a huge amount of demand before PFOF. I don't know what PFOF has been a thing for, like, this entire saga. PFOF has been around for like years now. So are you talking about like literally before, what was his name? Bernie Madoff, like, even came up with it? Max, I'm a little bit confused there. We need a huge lawsuit against PFOF. I mean, I agree with you, but we need to take the battle to in a level of, if we just get rid of PFOF, that does not exclusively give us our solution. We need to cut down on the amount of off-exchange trading. Peter Smith, who saved the universe, Ant-Man or the Rat. Ford rejected at 1950 a few times, looking for a breakout, maybe 20 plus. They have good plans on debt reduction through bonds. Thoughts? So I don't know much about their debt reduction, but I do just like how they're executing in the world of EV. So I'm just kind of bullish on Ford in that it's like a well-established name brand. I think they're executing in that world. But the debt, I mean, getting rid of debt's always a positive thing. What else do we have? The SEC needs to actually care about corruption. Well, right now, what's interesting is the way the rules and regulations are written is there's nothing against this. So you almost have to change the rules about the extreme amount of off-exchange trading for them to even have something to enforce. Because right now, not like payment for order flow isn't illegal. Dark pools aren't illegal. The concentration of power in market makers, not illegal. So you almost have to update the rules and regulations for there to then be something to enforce. Hang on, let me just double check one thing. Exactly, we need to make corruption illegal not only in trading but in the government in general. Well, the amount of insider trading between like Federal Reserve, federal judges, Congress members, like it's insane. It's disgusting. Nice SHIB run. SHIB waking up. There we go. Whoa there. I still have mine. I'm not out of my SHIB whatsoever. I'm hodling. I always said payment for order flow spelled out PFOF. Now it's PFOF. You know, I've always said PFOF, but it wasn't until I had that discussion with the guys who work at IEX, and they all call it PFOF. And I was like, oh, that's more fun to say, PFOF. So I can't say that I came up with it, but we could pretend that I did. But I did get that from the guys who work at the exchange. But PFOF. PFOF. Dog will be named AMC Shibis. I love that, Daniel. I'm farting for a reform. I like that. King Joey, I appreciate you watching that interview. Fafa truly full of shit. Market makers trying to inflict max pain on AMC today. Maybe. I'm wondering why Kenny hasn't called it in a while. It makes me think that they're doing something illicit in the background and they don't want us to catch them. SHIB having a nice movement. AMC 4067, Gme 212. Are there other big movers today? It feels like a very quiet day. Whoa, Tesla with that nice bounce. Look at this. Pure V-shaped recovery. Down. Nancy Pelosi's like up. And that's a very nice recovery on Tesla. Lucid still having a solid day. Avis down to 284, Bitcoin 61,000, Ethereum just below 4,500, Solana 233, Matic now below $1.90. Interesting. Sava booming. Sava. Sava is booming. So Sava, to be clear, I do not have a Sava position, but I'm still very much interested in the gap fill opportunity to 115. And it makes sense to me. It came out that they did not manipulate data, so you might as well go back to trading where you were before the accusation. ALZN. Someone's asking about ALZN. Nice wake up. Pharmaceutical. Like, you'd want to just look into why. Like, what happened. If it came out of nowhere, I wouldn't be that interested. But if there's some development, just be careful, because all this thing has done is sell off. It's never actually had a bullish trend. So be careful with this one. Make sure you're zooming out and looking at the full picture of it. Read the LRCDD u/Big Time 24 on Reddit. 5-minute reading will blow your mind. Plus, on top of that, 97% of supplies in circulation. Supply squeeze soon. What do you think? Can you take a look at ORTK? Yeah, we were looking at that a little bit earlier. I liked how it was waking up. Wait, what was it? OR, isn't it KT? Nope. TK. Where is it? We were literally looking at this earlier. OTRK, I think, is it what it was, right? I think this is what you mean. If this can hold above whatever this previous high is, like the low 13s, I would then be paying attention to the mid 15s, and then you have this gap fill opportunity. But once again, that's OTRK. Not the biggest fan of the risk to reward on that one, but it has some nice momentum. Charlie G bought me wine coolers back in 98, and I gave him thanks for LCIT quick tendies. Oh, miles away. I guess someone said Biden is speaking right now on the economy. Let me double check. All right, cool. Sava looking good. AMC hanging out at 40.50. AMC kind of lower volume, but not the lowest volume. It's just not moving today. Neither AMC nor GME it's a little bit down. AMC's up 1.27%. GME's down 3%. They're just it feels like a very boring premium burn type of day for AMC and GME. You're gonna have those days. It just happens. Low volume, low volatility. Maybe we get a movement in the latter half of today, but as of now, they're both boring. But that's all right. At least we have Sava to watch. Lucid, SHIB's moving. Tesla had a very nice bounce. I think AMC and GME are just having an early weekend. People are telling me, hang on. What else do we have? What is he saying? Biden prior month's job totals revised upward. Yeah, so just the president is speaking right now. So obviously, if he's talking about COVID and the Federal Reserve and he met with Powell and blah, 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 obviously that can have an impact on the market. Speaking of which, how's the SPY looking right now with him talking? Obviously not doing much. Q's not doing much. IWM went up, sold off, V-shaped recovery back. So not having too much of an impact, too much crazy movement or anything like that. SHIB is boosting very nicely. Boosting. How is Pfizer doing? People are talking about that. Kind of giving back some of these gains right now, but still holding the gap up. It's still up 8%. Is DraftKings holding its buyback? It is. It got back to almost 45. How's Penn? Penn kind of up, but it seems like just many things are not moving today. It feels like the market, quite a few things are just calling it an early weekend. It almost has that kind of vibe. That kind of a vibe. Actually, but Penn is, I like the coiling. If it can pop above 63, I'll just actually be mad because I wish I had some of that money in there to do something about it. All right. I guess I should put loop ring USD. Do they have the Coinbase one? Coinbase. I guess not. We'll have to use FTX's. All right, we got that up officially on the watch list. Pico influencer Matt Kohrs officially adds loop ring /USD to his watch list. Please alert the presses. All presses. Pico influencers like myself, we do not mess around. We do not mess around in the slightest. All right, SHIB moving. Is GameStop getting? No, GameStop not getting really a pop. How are the Qs? Sideways, IWM. We got to get some movement, people. DWAC down to 57. Tesla recovery but holding. Car. Whoa, Car's having a nice movement. Solana selling. Matic selling. BTC. Oh, wow. Crypto's just all selling. The past, I don't know, hour. All of crypto's just been selling off right now. All the main ones. Golly. All right, let's throw up Sava down here. Sava having a good day. DWAC on the way to fill that gap, maybe. I think so, to 52, but it's, yeah, I feel good about that. Now, I got out of my puts just because I got a little bit nervous because we know they're supposed to roll out with their beta at some point this month, and I feel like that announcement of the beta rollout will cause the stock to go up. So it's just like your back's against the wall in terms of time. What else do we have? It's just a Friday, folks. It's the first week of November. We're putting a close in it. Hey, I hope everyone's having a good one. Pico de Gallo. Why can't people in New York buy SHIB? It depends the brokerage you're on. I think people were saying if you have a Coinbase wallet, I think you could get it there. I believe that's what's going on. All right, people, I see asking about BBIG. How's that one looking? I mean, it broke down this support. That's not a good scenario. Did it bounce off of this resistance? Okay, so we bounced off of here, 450. Maybe it could get going off of that. This thing has like a lot of room to make up. Like this trend is obviously down. Lower highs, lower lows. You need something going. Yes, you do have some gap fill opportunity, but with this one, just be careful, because if it doesn't successfully catch itself, you might be talking $3. But there is support at 450. There is support at 4. Obviously, demand was found at 450. So see if you can build up enough momentum and get above 530 right here. From there, you can start talking gap fill opportunity. AMC currently at 40.50, Gme currently at 210, SHIB making a nice bounce off of whatever this is, 44 all the way up to 56. Sava, I still think going all the way back up to 115. I don't have any of that though. But hey, folks, that is your Friday morning show. Thank you for hanging out with one of your favorite finance live stream Pico influencers. It's honestly a privilege to be here and hang out with you. I will be back this afternoon. We'll do a power hour together. We're going to close out the week, and then we'll just, I guess, be popping some drinks into close. But remember, no matter what you do, please stick to your trading plan. Measure out your risk, measure out your reward. Whatever your plan is, please, please, please stick to it. Enjoy your lunch, enjoy your midday session. I will be back for Power Hour. And as always, from me and Chair, best of luck in the markets. I'll catch you later on.